Having a well-optimized title tag and meta description is arguably going to be one of the most important factors to the success of any SEO or organic marketing campaign. Not because they're necessarily going to be the thing that helps you start ranking in search engines, but because of their ability to dictate the amount of traffic that you're actually going to get to your website. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to write the ultimate page title and meta description for your web pages, and I'm also going to be showing you how we recently optimized one of our own title tags to more than double the amount of traffic we were getting to that page, so be sure to stick around to the end for that one. So firstly, what are title tags and meta descriptions, and why are they even important? Well, a title tag and a meta description is basically a bit of metadata, which is a bit of code that sits behind your website that tells Google how to show your website up in the search engine results page. So it's really there to help Google and the users on Google to understand what your website or web page is about. So you'll typically see title tags as the big blue text in the search engine results page. The meta description is the small description that sits underneath that. You'll also see title tags categorized usually as the title that you see in the tabs at the top of your browser. And the reason title tags and meta descriptions are so important is because these will ultimately determine the amount of clicks that you are getting to your web pages. If you think about, how people typically search, and maybe if you think about the last time you did a search in Google or any other search engine, you probably ended up clicking on the web page or web pages that most grabbed your attention or were most relevant to the thing you were searching for at the time. And relevancy is going to be a really big component when it comes to creating the perfect title tag and meta description for your web page. So I'm just going to share my screen now. We'll go through a few examples together, and I'll just kind of dissect a few of these and walk you through the process that you want to take when creating a title tag and meta description for your own website. So the first thing to bear in mind here is that there are going to be a number of different pages on your website, all of which serve different purposes. So there might be a blog post that you're looking to rank. You might have service pages if you're a service-based business. You might have product pages if you're an e-commerce store. And these are all going to have slightly different structures to them. But one of the first things you'll want to do when you're coming to rank any page is to do a bit of research, right? To take that keyword that you're looking to rank for. So I'm going to assume you've already kind of got an idea in your head of what the keyword is that you're looking to rank for, and then you want to type that into search engine. So let's say, for example, fun activities in London. So let's say, I don't know, we had a travel website, for example. So we're going to type in fun activities in London. And what we're going to do is just have a look and see what's currently ranking well here and what actually grabs your attention as you're looking through this, because this will give you a really good indicator of, okay, what actually works here, what's really attention grabbing. And this also gives us a good indicator of what is Google currently ranking. Now, one of the things you'll notice here is pretty much all of these posts, as I scroll down, you'll see a similarity between them, right? And that they've all got a number. The 10 best fun activities, 71 coolest fun things to do, 101 things to do with kids in London. Now these have all got adjectives as well as another big thing you'll notice. Fun activities, best fun activities, quirky activities, really fun things to do in London. So you'll notice like that tends to be the type of title tag and the type of page that seems to perform best in Google, because these are dominating page one. So that's something to think about maybe if we were creating a piece of blog content for a website like this. Now I just want to show you some other examples here. So this is a building company in London. Now, one of the things you'll notice with this is that if we come down here, and this is something I do want to point out because this is often a common mistake I see a lot of people making, is that they put their brand name at the start of the title tag. Now, that's not really a good idea for several reasons, really. One, because if you think about this from a user perspective, you want to see what you've searched for, and this is where relevancy comes into place and where it's really, really important. If I've searched for something, I don't care about such and such company. what I care about is clicking on what I've searched for. So generally speaking, you want the title tag should lead with the search that you're trying to optimize for, i.e. building company in London, right? Or whatever that target keyword is that you have. You then want to put your brand name at the end. The other reason to this is because it's said and it's expected that Google probably take this as a ranking factor. So if your title, if the actual keyword that you're looking to rank for is at the beginning of your title, Google will probably be giving more weight to that, right? Because it's the first part of that title. So in terms of actually understanding what to rank you for, that gives them a much better indication. If, for example, it's your homepage, that's not too bad. You know, that's not a massive issue, but especially if you're looking to rank a service page or product page on your website, it's really important that you lead with the actual keyword or key phrase that you're looking to rank for. So here, for example, you'll see this construction company, looks like they're called Kenham Building. The front of their title tag says Construction Company London, House Builders London, right? So they're actually throwing in some variations of that keyword as well to give themselves the ability to rank for more of those searches. Now, another thing here, best OLED TV. So this is a more kind of product-based search. And one of the things you'll notice with this, and this is another factor that can come into your title tags, is they've actually put dates in here. Now, again, this is why I would suggest that you do research first, because this really comes down to the intent of the search, right? And when you think about it, some searches will have more need for freshness than others, right? Because TVs are obviously changing all the time, even with the things in London, fun activities to do, I would argue, right? Because times change, right? New things open, new attractions open. So that could actually be quite appealing. And again, if you just think about how you search and how you click on results, and this is why I would encourage you to think, what's actually grabbing my attention here, and take notice of that. Because there's all sorts of little subconscious things that make us think like, oh, actually, maybe I'll click on this one because it's more relevant, because it's got today's date on it, like it's got or it's got this year, and nothing else has got that. Right, and the thing to remember about title tags as well, and this is actually, I would highly suggest you do this for any of your content on your website, is that you keep it regularly updated. Google love websites that have regularly updated content. So if you have a blog or you have a page on your website specifically like this, it's a good idea to update those title tags, to update the page, and to update the content on there as well, so it's always fresh and always relevant. And this brings me on to another factor when it comes to these title tags as well, is that you always want to make sure that it's not clickbait, right? And what clickbait means is where you're kind of giving this amazing promise, but then you're not delivering on that when people land on the website. So you're just putting in something that's going to get people to click, but then there's not really any substance when people actually click through to your website. Right, so you want to make it captivating, but you also want to make sure that you're delivering on that promise. And the reason for that is that, you know, this is likely going to be a factor that Google are taking into account when it comes to SEO as well. If your page is getting a lot of clicks, but people are bouncing as soon as they land on that page, that tells Google that your page probably isn't really that relevant, and therefore why should they continue showing you in the search engine results? So it's really important to not get carried away and to start writing things just because you want to get the clicks, because if people are bouncing straight off your site, that's going to likely affect your SEO as well. So just something to be mindful of there. Now, another example here is of a product page, right? So here we've got men's t-shirts we're looking for. Now, one of the things you'll notice here, this is quite a good title tag. We've got the search, so it's exactly what I've searched for. So there's a lot of relevance there. It's also covering a lot of the different variations of t-shirts, right? Slogan t-shirts, gym, casual. So if I typed in men's t-shirts, I'd probably have something in mind, but I just haven't typed that in. So if one of these things, oh yeah, I was actually looking for casual, it's going to give me more inclination to click on this listing. You'll see they've also got the brand name, but they put that at the back there. Now, when it comes to the meta descriptions, Really, the way you want to think about this is that the title tag is there to grab people's attention, let them know what this page is about, right, at a top level. The meta description is there to give them more context and to also kind of really entice them to click. So this might be kind of your USPs or any particular offer that you've got on, or what's the outcome that somebody is going to get from clicking on this. So you'll see here they've kind of just gone with giving a bit more context. So browse our huge range of the latest t-shirts. They've got some brand names in here. Another thing that can be quite good to do for e-commerce stores in particular is to have things like free UK shipping, free returns. So some of those USPs and benefits that you offer as an e-commerce store. So once you've done your initial research and you've typed in, whatever phrases or keywords that you're looking to rank for, and you've got an idea of what's currently performing well, the next thing I would suggest you do is to come onto this website. This is a really awesome tool. So it's mangles.com. And it's a Serp Simulator. You can actually type this into Google as well, Mangles Serp Simulator. And if you don't know, Serp basically just stands for Search Engine Results Page. And what this is going to do is it will help you to visualize how your title tag and meta description is actually going to look in search engines. And this is really important for a number of reasons. One, because it can help you just see visually and understand, out of everything else out there, is mine really going to stand out and grab attention? But two, it's also got a nice little built-in feature where it actually shows you the optimum length, because what happens now, Google doesn't go specifically on page characters, it's more the pixels varying on different screen sizes, but it will show you that, and you can actually change this as well. So you'll see here actually on mobile this goes over slightly. If we go on desktop, it's slightly more characters, but this will give you an indication of how to fit in your page title. And the reason this is important is because when you think about it, sometimes you see a lot of title tags where they're missing out important information, like they've started a sentence and it actually makes no sense because it's been cut off toward the end. So you want to make sure that you've got the important information up front within your title tag and meta description. It's not the end of the world if it goes over. We've had websites that are ranking page 1 of Google even with a slightly longer title tag or a slightly longer meta description, as long as you've got the core information in the start. If you can get everything into that character limit and that pixel limit, even better. So you can even pull you can put in your website URL here and it will actually pull the title tag and meta description from an existing page. Or if you're starting from scratch, you can literally just type it into the page titles. So you'll see here as an example, if we were to type in you'll see what happens is Google has now truncated this, meaning they've cut a bit off the end. So if this was an important bit of text, we would have just lost that. So you really want to think about, how can I condense this but make it still as impactful as possible, tell the user exactly what they need and make it enticing to click. So there's a few things that you want to think about, and some of the things we saw when we were going through some of these old listings, but these other listings, but some of them is to use adjectives in your listing, right? It can make it much more exciting and enticing to click. So if you have in fact, let me just go back and we'll look at some of these, because I saw some really good ones. 7 unmissable TVs, right? So this is really enticing somebody to click on it. So using adjectives can really help. The other thing that can help as well, as we've discussed, is dates. And one of the things that I want to show you here, because this is actually one of the changes we made to this particular blog that resulted in more than doubling the amount of traffic we were getting to this blog. And simply all we did here was add in this little phrase at the end. Now, the reason we did this is because, and it really comes down to search intent, and it's one of the things that I highly suggest you think about whenever you're creating your title tags. What is the intent of this person making this search right now? So in this instance, if somebody's looking how to create a customer avatar, well, they're obviously looking for help. They're looking for a guide with creating an avatar for their business. So what's one of the things that's really going to help them? Well, worksheets are often, very useful. Worksheets, templates, that kind of thing help, because they help people to fast track that process of creating something and understand the process better. So we added that in to help to differentiate the listing, right, out of all of the other ones out there saying guide on this, how to do this, how to do this. We, one of the things, and again, this comes down to the research phase, one of the things we noticed is a lot of them didn't have any mention of any worksheets and stuff like that. So by adding this in, we were able to more than double the amount of traffic that we were getting from search engines. Now, it's worth saying here as well that just by updating your title tag doesn't mean you're going to be instantly getting more traffic, right? You have to be ranking for that page in the moment, already. So in this video, I'm not going to go into the details of SEO because there's a lot of different factors. It's not just going to be your title tag. You need to have all these things working in tandem, right? Making sure you've got a good page experience, making sure that your website loads fast, making sure that your on-page SEO is up to scratch, making sure you've got decent backlinks to your site, which we'd refer to as off-page SEO. So there's all of these different factors that come into it. I'm going to link to some videos, some other videos down in the description below that go more into some of the foundations you can set from an SEO perspective. So be sure to check those out after this one if you want to learn more about that. But I'm going to show you now a way that you can look to optimize some of your existing web pages to start getting more clicks and more traffic and potential low-hanging fruit that you may have. So let's just have a look at this, for example. What we'd do is we'd want to go into Google Search Console. Now, Google Search Console is a phenomenal tool because it allows you to see exactly what websites, what web pages and what keywords you're currently ranking for. So what you're going to want to do is come onto the Performance tab here and click on Search Results. You're then going to want to apply a filter here. And what I've done here is I've applied a filter to position so that I'm seeing the, so let me just click on this again and I'll show you. So I've applied a filter to the position and I've said smaller than position 6, which means it's only showing me the keywords that I'm ranking position 6 or above for in search engines. I've then got it filtered by click-through rate as well, which is how many people are actually clicking on these search results out of the amount of people that are seeing them. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking for pages that are ranking high. They've got a high average position in search engine, but they're getting a very, very low click-through rate out of the people that are actually seeing them, which again indicates there's probably a lot of room for improvement when it comes to these title tags. So you'll see here this one has got a huge amount. So this is the amount of impressions. So this is how many people have actually seen it, how many times it's shown up in the search results page. So it's a huge amount of impressions, but very, very low click-through rate when you compare it to some of these other ones, right? So if we have a look at this, need a website. Okay, so this one, and this is where you kind of just need to play it by ear and think about what are you ranking for. So this one, for example, this is, I know that we're ranking, there's a blog post we've got, which is, do you really need a website? So the thing to think about here is the intent probably isn't there. If someone's typing in need a website, it's probably because they need a website, right? Or maybe they're looking to get a website built. So when they see, do you really need a website? They may not, the reason they're not clicking on that is because it's not relevant. Like maybe they know they need one and they're actually just looking to get one done. So I wouldn't want to change the blog because that's not what the blog is about. It's not about offering people a website. It's about helping people understand if they actually need one or not. So you want to play this by and you don't want to just change things for the sake of it. You want to be thinking about, okay, is this actually relevant to this page? How can I make it more relevant to this particular search? So let's have a look at some other ones here. Okay, well, this is one. Do I need a website in 2020? That's exactly what the blog is about. Do I need a website? So this has actually got a very, very low click-through rate here. So what I'd want to do is go back and have a look at that page, and in the context of that search, just think about what can I do to make this page more relevant. And sometimes maybe it's things like, do I need a website? So one of the things we've actually got on that page is a quiz. So maybe in brackets, I can go in and put in free quiz. right? Because that, again, it's mapping it to the search intent that person has, and it's giving them something that's going to help them fast track the answer, right? Similar to what we talked about with this customer avatar guide, offering that worksheet, offering a template or something. It helps someone to think, oh, okay, this is actually going to make it easier for me to get the answer I want. So, you know, that's something that I could potentially add in there to test to increase my click-through rate. And there's actually another tool that we've just signed up to recently, which is really, really awesome tool. So what this tool effectively does is that it basically allows us to run tests on our different title tags and meta descriptions and see how much the traffic increases as a result. So, you know, if the idea of going into Search Console is incredibly daunting for you, this makes it a whole lot easier, because they actually have this amazing dashboard here where we can scroll down and it will say, you know, we found pages that have high impressions but low click-through rate. You can click on it and you can then actually run tests. So it will, you know, you can set a date and time, say what metric you want to test for, you update your title tag and meta description, and it will then show you the difference and increase, you know, whether you've had an increase or decrease in your click-through rate, in your clicks, in your impressions and things like that. So it's a really, really powerful tool for helping you to not only identify that low-hanging fruit, but to optimize them over time to get the most amount of traffic to your website. Okay, so just to recap, the first thing you're going to want to do is to research. Look up what's currently ranking, what's currently performing best for your chosen keyword or key phrase, and take notice of what is getting you or really engaging you to click through. Think about some of the elements that are impacting your decision to click and see how you can pull that into your own title tags and meta description. The next thing you're going to want to do is to use some sort of tool where you're able to see the search engine results listing and how that is actually going to look in the search engine results page. So I showed you that tool by Mangles earlier. If you're on a WordPress website, there are some fantastic plugins out there like Yoast and Rank Math that actually have this feature built in, and you'll be able to see how it looks. You'll be able to see, like, you know, how many characters, if you've gone over the character limit, and find that perfect balance where people can actually see the title tags and meta descriptions that you're putting in and they're not getting cut off because they're too long. The next thing you want to do is obviously just to make sure that your keyword or key phrase you're looking to rank for is contained within the title tag, and ideally you want to have it as close to the start as possible and not start with your brand name. You want to start with the keyword that you're looking to rank for and then have your brand name more toward the end. And then finally, you just want to think about what other keywords or key phrases can you include in your title that is going to give you the ability to not only appear in more searches, but to really encourage people to click through. So adding more context to that search, or really giving people a reason to click, right? If you offer a free trial, mention that. If you have some sort of you know, free service that you can offer people, make sure you mention that. If you're an e-commerce store and you offer things like free shipping, free returns, make sure you're mentioning that in your meta description, because you're probably not going to have the room to mention it in your title tag. So remember, the meta description is really about giving more additional context to that user of what this page is about, but also to highlight any kind of USPs that your brand offers. And also, I just want to emphasize here the importance of testing, right? It's so important to test these things because, you know, a lot of the time our initial hypothesis can end up being wrong, and you will find that it's just something you need to test over time. So using a tool like MetaClick Pro and just keeping an eye on your title tags and meta descriptions can have a big difference, because as we talked about at the start, the title tags and meta description are ultimately going to decide how many people are clicking on your search results. So it's really important that you're testing and optimizing these over time. So there you have it, guys. I hope you got a ton of value from this video. If you like this video and you want to get more content like this on a weekly basis to really help you take your marketing to the next level and to get better results with less spend, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave a comment down below what you're going to be implementing and what your main takeaway was from this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.